So, okay, let's have a look at the Lexikan reverb units. That's the Lexikan and the Lexikon 2. First, we look at the Lexikan 1. I have a dry signal. It's just some silly vocal throws from a library.
Ooh, baby, come on.
That's dry enough for our tests. And I activate that. And this is a unit that features 5 reverb algorithms. There's an algorithm for ambient sounds for small rooms, for more medium-sized rooms, a hall algorithm, and plate algorithms. The next knobs is just to set these on dry, so there's the clean signal out, to wet, so there's only the reverb out, which you would use if you have it as a sound effect. And then there's that recall button, and it's to recall the next program set on the top here. So I'd select a program by selecting the algorithm, and then from a set of 5, let's say ambience 2 would be a bright ambient, and I recall that. So you see the loaded program is ambience is bright and sounds like this.
Ooh, baby, come on.
For all who think that's not such a big difference, dry
Ooh, baby.
with ambience.
Ooh, baby, come on.
And so on. You can just select whatever you like.
Ooh, baby.
From these 25 presets here. Then you can tweak that. Let's start on the right, which the readout says that's the amount of dry signal, that's the amount of wet signal, and that has a center position for 100 and 100%.
Ooh, baby, come on. Ooh, shut up.
The next slider is for the stereo wideness.
Ooh, baby, come on.
That was funny. In some programs or some algorithms, it's getting weird if you turn it too wide. Maybe I'll fix that soon. Let's say we take a plate.
Ooh, baby, come on. Ooh.
So that's reverb in stereo and that's reverb in mono.
Ooh, baby, come on.
Then you have a small equalizer thingy. This is to cut out the highs.
Ooh, baby.
And if I turn that down, the highs are cut out at the frequency displayed here.
Ooh, baby.
So it will be more dull. Same thing for the lower frequencies. You have a high pass filter to not reverberate lows, because that can get you a very muddy sound sometimes.
Ooh, baby, come on.
And as every reverb unit should have, it has a reverb time slider. So if you push that all the way up, you have really long reverb time.
Ooh.
And if you turn that down, it gets very short.
Ooh, baby.
And then you have that pre-delay, which is the delay from the dry signal to the reverb signal from that dry signal. So if you want to start the reverb immediately, turn it down. If you want to have a gap between the dry signal and the reverb signal, turn it up.
Ooh, baby, come on. Ooh, ooh.
Wow. Okay, let's have a look at the Lexikon 2. This unit features 5 algorithms: ambient, room, small hall, big hall, and plate. And it calls a starting point preset when you select your algorithm. So by pushing that knob, it will reset all you dialed in and call that preset.
Ooh, baby, come on. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby.
Too big. Okay. So what you can see here is you have a display for the input to not overdrive it. Then let's get from the left to the right. This time you have the basic reverb time, or call it length in this unit. You can see in the graphics that is the reverb tail shown here. That is the dry signal. And then when you increase the time, the reverb tail gets longer or shorter by decreasing it. And this unit features not only a tail, but also so-called early reflections. And if I turn that all the way to the left, you see there are some delays between the early reflections and no tail. And now we have 50-50. And at this side, we only have the reverb tail and no early reflections. And I can delay that, like in Lexikon 1. As you can see, there's a gap between the direct sound and the reverb sound. And I can put a gap between the early reflections and the reverb tail as well. This as an equalizer, now it's in tilt mode. So if you turn it to the right, the sound will get bright, and to the left, it will get dull. There's also a low pass filter mode just to cut out high frequencies. That's a bit of a difference. Most of you will know what that means, and those who don't know, just try and hear and listen what you dial in there. This is also featured with that bright button. The bright button turns the sound at all bright. Regardless of what you dial in here, it makes the sound a bit brighter. You have that dry-wet thing, as in the Lexikon 1, and a stereo thing as in the Lexikon 1 as well. Also, you have the wet-only mode, so it only outputs the wet signal for send channels, and you have a bypass mode to bypass the whole effect for a dry signal. And you have a display knob, which turns it from this fancy visualization from the knobs you turn to a readout display. So you can see what you dialed in exactly there.
Ooh, baby, come on. Ooh, ooh, sha-da-da-da-doo-da-doo. Ooh, baby, come on.
One last thing is the plate reverb doesn't have early reflections. All others have early reflections.